Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ni Asima Atira binti Ni Ghazali. My metric number is 070945. We from the group of 16. Our assignment topic about the application of fatwa in Syariah criminal cases. So, fatwa is a unique process in Islamic law. The issuance of fatwa involves two parties, the person who presents the problem or question mustafi and the person who gives the answer or the law or the fatwa mufti. Fatwa has important place in Islamic law. The fatwa institution always be referenced for Muslim in Malaysia. However, not all fatwas by Muslim in a state. Only a gazette fatwa can be enforced and binds Muslims who reside in a particular state. Hence, the legal enforcement is applied through the provision of offences relating to the fatwa in the Syariah Criminal Act enactment of the state in Malaysia. Fatwa recognized as one of the sources of Islamic law in Malaysia. In some situations and cases, fatwa become reference in the Syariah court to resolve particular dispute and legal issues. Linguistically, fatwa means an answer to a question. Fatwa is usually issued in order to resolve an issue when there is some doubt whether a particular practice is permissible, halal or forbidden, haram in Islam. In Islamic jurisprudence, a fatwa is the opinion of a scholar based on that scholar's milieu that raise the issue or question. Firstly, evidence of the Quran. Among the clear indication regarding the necessity of issuing a fatwa are the words of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Surah An-Nisa verses 18 ayat Yastaftunaka kulillah yuftikum fil kalala. They, the Muslims of your community, are asking you for a fatwa, O Muhammad, regarding the problem of kalala. The words of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Surah An-Nisa verses 127. وَيَسْتَفْتُونَكَ فِي النِّسَاءِ قُلِ اللَّهُ يُفْتِيكُمْ فِيهِنَّ وَمَا يُتْلَى عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الْكِتَابِ. Meaning, and they ask you, O Muhammad, for a fatwa regarding the rights and duties of women. Say by yourself, Allah will give you evidence fatwa about them, and also there is fatwa in what is always read to you in this book Al-Quran. Secondly, evidence of the Sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ gave recognition to Sayyidina Mu'az bin Jabal in matters of ijtihad and fatwa when he was sent to Yemen to spread the teachings of Islam. Anna Rasulullah ﷺ ba'asa Mu'azan ila al-Yaman qala kaifa takdi qala fa in lam yakun fi kitabillah qala fa bi sunnati sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala fa in lam yakun fi sunnati Rasulillah qala ajtahada ra'yi qala alhamdulillah allazi waffaqa Rasulillah. It means that the messenger of God, may God bless him and grant him peace, sent Sayyidina Mu'az to Yaman and said, how do you issue law? Answer Sayyidina Mu'az, I issue the law with what is contained in the book of God, Al-Quran. His word, if it is not found in the book of God, the answer, so with the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His word, if it is not found in the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the answer, I do ijtihad with my mind. His Majesty said, praise be to God who has given guidance to the messenger of God. Narrated by Abu Dawud and Al-Tirmizi. Thirdly, evidence of consensus. Basically, the majority of scholars and imams for the Muqtaba school, namely the Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i and Hanbali school, have agreed to accept ijtihad or fatwa as one of the sources of Islamic law. The effect of this practice of ijtihad is a rich treasure of jurisprudence and is the result of research by the previous mujtahid.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Imandamia binti Rasli and my metric number is 0714777. Moving on to the next part, Fatwa is one of Malaysia's sources of Islamic law and is a guideline for the Syariah court in certain circumstances and cases for the resolution of specific disputes and legal problems, which also include of the Syariah criminal cases. And the Fatwa status is accepted by the legislative and by the sources of enactment authority. A fatwa that is recognized by the Syariah court and also received from the Mufti and Majlis through the State Fatwa Committee. And a gazetted fatwa keeps all the Muslims in state authority and binding. And if someone's violating or disobeying a fatwa, it will be an offense and may, in compliance with the rules of the Islamic law, be subject to appropriate actions or penalties that is sentenced by a judge. So how fatwa was made? Like an example, under the enactment, the power to make fatwa rests with Fatwa Committee. And the Fatwa Committee consists of Mufti, the one who serves as the chairman, and then the Deputy Mufti, and then the State Legal Advisor, 2 members of the Majlis, and officer of the Jabatan Agama Islam, which is appointed by the Majlis, and between 2 and 7 feet on the proper persons appointed by the Majlis, and an officer of Mufti department who serves as its secretary. Whenever the committee proposes a fatwa, the Mufti has to call a meeting of the committee for the purpose of discussing a fatwa. Before the committee makes a fatwa, the Mufti may decide by the research to be carried out and a working paper prepared. And after the fatwa was prepared, Mufti will be on behalf of the Fatwa Committee, submit the fatwa to Majlis Agama Islam, for example, Majlis Agama Islam Selangor. And lastly, the Majlis will discuss, and it is so decided by the Sultan. First is sent to publish the fatwa in Gazette. For Kelantan and Johor, they have to ask for the consent of the Sultan. And meanwhile, for the Federal Territories, they don't have to. It appears that Mufti can publish a fatwa and gazette it without the consent of Agama. The fatwa, upon being published in the Gazette, becomes binding on every Muslim of the state.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Yasmin Alia binti Muhammad Rizal and my metric number is 071129. For the last part, I will explain about the enactment that related to fatwa. Firstly, Enactment 1 of 2003, Islamic Administration Enactment, Selangor State 2003. Part 3. Appointment of the Mufti, Authority in Religious Affairs, Fatwa Committee, and Fatwa related to national interests. In section 49, it mentioned that fatwas published in the Gazette are binding. Firstly, when published in the Gazette, a fatwa shall be binding on every Muslim in the state of Selangor as the teachings of his religion, and shall be his duty in terms of the Islamic religion to obey and adhere to the fatwa unless he is permitted by hukum syarak not to according to the fatwa in matters of personal practice. Secondly, a fatwa must be recognized by all courts within the state of Selangor regarding all matters stated therein. Next, there are also Enactment 9 of 1995, Syariah Criminal Enactment, Selangor, 1995, Part 4. Offences relating to morality. In section 30, it mentioned about men acting like women. Any man who wears women's clothing or acts like a woman in any public place for immoral purposes commits an offence and, upon conviction, may be fined not exceeding 1,000 ringgit or imprisoned for a period not exceeding 6 months or both. As you can see, this enactment is injustice occurs because it only mentioned about men acting like a woman and did not mention about women acting like a man. So, in order to be equal, fatwa about women acting like a man should be enforced in Malaysia.
Next, I will talk about the case that need fatwa.
which is prohibition of using black magic. Black magic is nothing new in the Malaysian society. This practice has long been rampant due to absence of specific legislation which punishes its perpetrator. Ever since the year of 1975, efforts were heard to be taken to enact a law which deals with black magic. Nevertheless, such effort has yet to be realized. Hence, it is time to codify the law on black magic so that both witches as well as those who seek for their services can really be prosecuted and punished. This will simultaneously vindicate those who have been oppressed by such heinous crime. Therefore, in an effort to formulate a legal mechanism capable of dealing with the problem of black magic crime, there are several issues, questions, and challenges that become obstacles and restrictions in the implementation of the black magic crime law in Malaysia. The involvement of all parties plays an important role, especially the government and members of parliament, in an effort to implement this law.
Conclusion, each fatwa issue actually has its own basis. In addition to the support of strong arguments, in addition, it also takes into account the interests of Muslims from the point of view of teachings and belief. It is appropriate for Muslims to respect the fatwa issue for the well-being of Muslims in their daily life.